On the ground lay an injured eagle, its cries for help echoing in despair. The chances of anyone coming to its aid seemed bleak, but what transpired next is a heartwarming tale of resilience and compassion. Eagles, renowned for their strength and prowess as birds of prey, possess a remarkable tool in their beaks. Not only does this beak aid them in capturing and consuming their prey, but it is also integral to their grooming and feather maintenance. Now picture the plight of an eagle without this essential beak. Such was the predicament of a magnificent bald eagle known as Beauty, who unwittingly crossed paths with a poacher's deadly shot in 2005. On a scorching afternoon, Beauty soared through the sky, eventually alighting on a tree to rest and survey her surroundings. Little did she know that her life was about to take a tragic turn. In a matter of seconds, Beauty transitioned from perched observer to wounded victim. A heartless poacher had spotted her and fired a shot that struck her with brutal force, severing a significant portion of her beak. Eagle hunters were notorious for either hunting these majestic birds for sport or illicitly capturing them. The poacher likely assumed that Beauty was lifeless and departed with a twisted sense of accomplishment, leaving her to suffer in agony. The wounded bald eagle, however, remained very much alive, her cries of pain echoing for miles. While she had narrowly escaped death, her situation remained dire, as the chances of recovery from such a grievous beak injury were next to none. Fortunately, the intervention Beauty so desperately needed arrived in the form of an animal rescue group. A few days after the incident, this compassionate group ventured through the woods, following the sounds of rustling in the undergrowth. As they drew closer to the source of the noise, they were met with an astonishing sight. A bald eagle, its beak nearly entirely gone. The bird's strength was waning, and even its cries had grown feeble. Realizing that immediate help was imperative, the rescuers gently cradled Beauty and transported her to a facility where she could receive the care needed to restore her to health. During the journey to the shelter, their thoughts pondered the heartlessness of the individual who could inflict such cruelty on an animal. Sadly, they understood that poaching incidents like these were challenging to prevent in the area. Upon Beauty's arrival at the shelter, the dedicated volunteers of the nonprofit group Birds of Prey Northwest sprang into action. Recognizing her severe malnourishment, they understood that she could not feed herself, given her damaged beak. As a result, they resorted to an alternative method of nutrition, a small tube and a liquid mixture of essential nutrients. The rescuers were heartened to observe Beauty's eager acceptance of the nourishment, suggesting she had endured severe hunger. News of Beauty's ordeal deeply saddened the other shelter volunteers, reinforcing their commitment to caring for these magnificent birds who had suffered such cruelty. They bestowed upon her the name Beauty and united to support her on her journey to recovery. A veterinarian confirmed that Beauty's prospects were favorable beyond her broken beak, emphasizing the importance of finding her before she perished from starvation. The volunteers continued their diligent care, administering sustenance through tubes. As Beauty regained strength, they transitioned to hand-feeding her using forceps. To the delight of everyone at the nonprofit shelter, Beauty exhibited remarkable progress and was soon back on her feet. However, a concerning reality emerged. Her beak showed no signs of healing. This meant a significant change in Beauty's life. She would never regain the ability to feed herself, rendering her unable to survive in the wild. Consequently, Beauty had to adapt to a life at the shelter, living without her beak. The dedicated team closely monitored her well-being, prepared to intervene should she display signs of depression or refuse the nourishment provided by the volunteers. It was a testament to Beauty's resilience and the unwavering compassion of those who rallied to her aid, ensuring she would have a chance at a fulfilling life despite the challenges she faced. That was unless a miracle happened. In an unexpected turn of events, however, Beauty got her miracle. Raptor specialist Jane Fink Cantwell could not bear the thought of this bird being euthanized or living a recluse life. She strongly believed that the eagle was saved for a higher purpose. The fact that it hadn't died from the injury or starvation before they found her meant that she was supposed to survive and thrive despite it all. Jane scheduled a meeting with mechanical engineer Nate Calvin of Kinetic Engineering Group and other scientists to share her idea. Sure, it was crazy, but with the right team, they could save Beauty. Jane wanted them to make a prosthetic beak for the bird. Together with Nate Calvin, a team of engineers and a dentist, Jane was able to bring her dream to life. They spent weeks planning, measuring, and making adjustments until they came up with the design for a nylon polymer beak that would be the perfect replacement of the eagle's broken one. Calvin began developing a new beak using a 3D modeling program. When the design model was ready, he manufactured it using a 3D printer. The new beak came out beautiful, and the team could not wait to see it on beauty. The next day, they got ready to attach the new beak. First, they attached the metal mounts that would fit into the beak and hold it firmly in place. Then they tried attaching the new prosthetic itself. On the first attempt, however, it didn't fit perfectly. Some measurements were off by a few millimeters, and the team had to make adjustments. They made some tweaks as quickly as they could and gave it another shot. They were getting closer, but it wasn't quite perfect just yet. Still resilient in their resolve, they fixed a few things and tried it again for the third time. Everyone on the team screamed in unison, and this time the beak fits perfectly and stayed put. The eagles squealed in delight, and this warmed the hearts of everyone in the room. They were all grinning from ear to ear, glad to see the bird return to its full glory. All the work put in was worth it when they saw how happy Beauty was with Beak. Sure, it would never be a complete replacement for her natural beak, but this was the closest they could get her to being whole again. The next step was to test if Beauty's new beak was as functional as it was good-looking. The scientists brought in some food for her and watched. Beauty looked up at them, expecting to be fed as usual, but they just stared back eagerly. After a few minutes, she inspected the food slowly and carefully opened her. When the birds started eating, they all cheered again. Members of the team and other people in the room were elated when they saw that Beauty could eat, drink, and also groom herself. This was amazing news. Although Beauty could pretty much do everything on her own now, the new beak was not secure enough for her to return to the wild on her own. Still, she was more self-sufficient than she ever was without the artificial beak. Beauty's success story would also herald a new beginning, fourth prosthetic body parts for other injured animals. Beauty remained in Jean's care, and their friendship blossomed beautifully. Many people who came to work or visit the Wildlife Center were in awe of the eagle's story and Jane's determination to find a solution. Theirs was a journey that many people would not forget. The specialist took to social media to share her birdie best friend's story with the world. She believed people needed to be aware of the horrible effects poaching had on innocent wildlife creatures. The raptor specialist was grateful. The Beauty got the second chance she deserved after such an ordeal, and encouraged the group of rescuers and volunteers to keep an eye out for other animals in need in the wild. The next Beauty could already be waiting for their help somewhere, but thanks to their selflessness and determination, any injured animal will have a second chance at life. What an amazing story! Have you ever heard of prosthetics for animals? What do you think of the team who helped Beauty? And tell us in the comments below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.